But before I do that, there's one quick thing. I'm probably not going to play very many Marvel Rival games right now, if any. Instead, I want to finish the Apocalypse Murder Mystery event. We solved 2 of the murder mysteries the first day we dove into Season 9. The murder of Wolverine and the murder of Psylocke. Wolverine was murdered by Bucky, who was taken over by Hive. And Psylocke was murdered, just straight up murdered by Loki, who framed Hela and Magik. Ooh. I'm gonna write myself a note to watch this. Because that's a decent Daredevil skin. July 29th. No problem, I can definitely do that. Oh, that's for the predictions and stuff. Nope, no new events yet. Still need a few more to unlock my Cloak and Dagger comic accurate skin. I know people have been saying this is basic online, but I love this. I love these two so much. The comic accurate nature of it is really cool. I also do really like this Namor. Alright, so sorry, the Death of Apocalypse. I did this. The murder of Wolverine. Blade blamed Jubilee. It wasn't Jubilee, it was actually Bucky, whose tentacles in his mechanical arm absorbed all of Wolverine's healing blood after it was revealed that Bucky, when in Winter Soldier form, murdered Wolverine's family in this universe. Then Loki murdered Psylocke, framed Magik, but he did it to steal her magic blood from a watercolor universe in order to alter reality. Like, which is problematic. The final one, though, is the murder of Gambit. So let's check this out. You're probably wondering how your boy Remy LeBeau got himself into this mess. Well, sit on back and let Remy tell your story. Or at least parts I know. All the heroes gathered here in Thebes were distracted, not just by Apocalypse's murder, but by the fact that Logan and Psy both met their unexpected ends in the very same room where Apocalypse's body was found, the Lazarus Chamber. Obviously, Ms. Ami decided to stand guard and make sure no one else came in and out of there until it was solved. Gambit wasn't here to track down the killer targeting his fellow X-Men. No, merci. I have business to take care of. Thieves Guild business. Remember the ancient stone the Black Cat delivered to Kingpin back in New York? The Tablet of Life and Time? Well, that's just one of a pair. That's right. Black Cat, in the lore that we learned from last season, Kingpin broke out Black Cat to hire her to steal the Tablet of Life and Death and deliver it to him to give him the power to oppose Alchemax and increase his power base, but she betrayed him and sold it to Doom. That's one of a pair. Its counterpart is the Tablet of Death and Entropy, rumored to be just as powerful, and it happened to be in Apocalypse's possession. The cat offered me a handsome sum to track it down and bring it back to her, no questions asked. So does Doom want both the tablets? When we all raced to Thebes on a grand adventure, I figured I'd be able to kill two birds with one stone. Never expected for a second I was gonna be one of the birds getting killed. I found a secret passage that let me sneak past the guards at the door. I was about to start my search for the tablet. As soon as I got near Apocalypse's lifeless body, I felt something strange. I've always been sensitive to energy, no matter what form it takes. Potential, kinetic, you name it. There's a special kind of energy I don't feel too often, pure cosmic. Phoenix? I don't know. The thing's only generated by the true force of nature like the Phoenix. And for some reason, the big fella's body was still crackling with it. Obviously, I went in for a closer look, big mistake. Before I knew what was happening, the party was over. Someone got to jump on me, which ain't easy to do. And it was lights out on Bourbon Street. Came back to life for long thanks to Jubilee and her Death Seed, only to learn I was struck down by something that could tap into cosmic energy, just like Apocalypse before me. Of course, folks here are casting blame. People think it might have been the Black Panther using the last traces of the Phoenix Force weapons Shuri was researching on Clintar to protect the faith of his Panther god. I got no reason to believe T'Challa would do me like that. Still, somebody did it to me and to N'Savanur. Whoever it was has access to power way beyond this world. Till we find out who that somebody is, Gambit, got a feeling ain't no one gonna be safe. Suspended above are time-worn cables connecting the resurrection sarcophagus of Apocalypse. They are constructed of unknown components, their function difficult to identify on short notice. Well, this is curious. What did you find, Emma? Hole in the wall. Looks like it was caused by a gunshot, but no trace of a projectile within. If Gambit was killed by a bullet, where is it? The size of his entry and exit wound are exactly the same, almost like he was impaled by something like a beam of energy or a spear. According to Mr. Fantastic, there's only one person with a spear with the Phoenix Force at their disposal, Black Panther. I was trying to find the tablet of death and interest me. Instead, your boy Gambit got himself killed, just like Apocalypse. Both our corpses ended up overflowing with cosmic energy. Again, could it have been like Gore the God Butcher? These wounds are strange, but judging from their angles, it's almost certain they were made by a handgun. There are only two who carry firearms, Blade and Winter Soldier. Like me, both were chosen to wield a fraction of the Phoenix's cosmic might. Well, they're not the only ones packing heat while you were busy playing detective. We found Parker Robbins lurking in a corner of the pyramid. So the Hood is here. They know about the Hood. Okay. The boy who was granted Oblivion's power. What does he call himself again? The Cape? The Hood. Dude, The Cape was a great TV show. Highly underrated. It was only 13 episodes. It was about a guy who trained in a circus to use like a combat cape, and he became a vigilante. Highly underappreciated. Had so much potential. Could have been 6 seasons in a movie. It was awesome. The Hood. It says he was sent here by Oblivion to investigate the energy fluctuations from the Apocalypse Ascension. I get a feeling we can't trust a thing he says. So the Hood is here with guns. I have the results of the analysis, and as suspected, Apocalypse wound contains traces of the Phoenix Force. Again, just from the look of this, yeah. Which means all of us who were chosen to wield it are still suspects, and in Gambit in his murder, and in Gambit's. Strange thing is, Gambit's wounds don't match. His were made by something with a different cosmic signature I've never seen before. Oh, wait. Apocalypse's wounds carry Phoenix Force. Gambit's don't? But it's cosmic. So was it the Hood? Using Oblivion power? A faint tattoo? Lettering is faded, you can make out it seems to relate to Rogue. Unrelated to the case, there seems to be something a little off about it. So where is the tablet you were so eager to die for? Je ne sais pas. I swear Apocalypse had it on him. But it ain't there no more. Whoever took me out must have taken it too. To fulfill his promise to the New York Thieves Guild, Gambit slipped past the guards. So is Black Cat a member of the New York Thieves Guild? Because that makes all kinds of sense. He was carefully examining Apocalypse's corpse in an effort to find the Tablet of Death and Entropy. A mysterious killer suddenly appeared and mercilessly attacked with a pew-pew gun. The killer who had been hiding himself in prying eyes of the assembled heroes was none other than... I'm gonna guess the Hood. Acting on Oblivion's orders. He had come to find the relic kept by Apocalypse. When he discovered Gambit and located them first, he took Gambit out with a... bullet carrying Oblivion's power. By a strange twist of fate, both blank at the scene corpses were left with unusual wounds laced with cosmic energy, wrongfully turning suspicious eyes towards the Phoenix. Why is that not working? Come on. One incorrect deduction. We got an image for the Hood. There you go, choose Black Panther. Okay. Our murder mysteries finally come to an end, Emma said. You believe T'Challa could have killed Gambit, Daredevil asked? Not for a second. You inspired me to let the evidence lead us to a conclusion. And it did lead us in his direction at first, you're right. Once we figured out Gambit's wounds couldn't have been made by a conventional bullet, we had considered other weapons, like Black Panther's spear. Since he was one of the few who had chosen to harness the power of the Phoenix, all signs pointed to Wakanda. He had motive as well. T'Challa had never been allowed... would never have allowed Apocalypse to absorb Bast's faith. When Gambit detected the residual Phoenix force on Apocalypse's wound, the Panther might have feared his crime would be exposed. Thanks to Reed, we can take T'Challa's name off the list. To confirm the cosmic energy in Gambit's wounds didn't match the Phoenix forces on Apocalypse's body. 2 corpses, 2 different murders. So could Black Panther have killed Apocalypse? Once again, 2 corpses, different murders. Even with the King of Wakanda and the other Phoenix hosts ruled out as Gambit's potential killer, we still have another suspect, Parker Robbins. I prefer the Hood. Tell me how you did it, and there's no use lying, I'll know. It was easier, Mama. When I signed up with Oblivion, he upgraded my arsenal, my handgun. So I heard they were changing the Hood story. He's no longer a common thief who ripped the hood and guns and boots off of a corpse of a demon. It's now he signed up with Oblivion? Okay. My handgun could shoot rounds, popping off of its power. In the name of my new master, they obliterated everything in their path, including themselves. So bullets that disappear. Oblivion makes sense. Why waste Oblivion's power on a fellow thief? He had something my boss wanted. The Tablet of Death and Entropy. I was planning on swiping it off Apocalypse's body and get the hell out. But the caging got in the way. That's where the tablet went. Yep. But you can have it back. All this ain't worth some hunk of stone. The fact that you would give up your prize so easily, you were willing to kill for it, what can I say? I've had a change of heart. That's suspicious. Not long ago you were willing to kill for it, I had a change of heart, been watching from the shadows long enough now to know I'm better working with you than against you, for now at least. What would Oblivion think? I don't really care. He may have given me the power, but he ain't calling the shots. I am. I'm gonna make sure no one forgets it. Okay. The Death of Apocalypse. A bloodless corpse. Undead energy. And the Phoenix Force. Right, we know there's traces of Phoenix Force. Apocalypse was drained of his blood. And there was undead energy all over the place. 4 murders. Daredevil said to the heroes assembled in Thebes, but only 3 of the killers have faced justice. We've ruled out the notion that anyone in our number is on a killing spree, but we have yet to determine who possessed the might, means, and motive to strike down Apocalypse during his ascension. That's why we gathered here again, to share any information that could identify the culprit who set all this in motion. The answer lies within Apocalypse's body. Emma said his wounds have a number of unique properties worthy of consideration. First, Bucky showed up. Wolverine discovered Apocalypse's body was drained of blood. Again, we know he was killed with a sword during the cutscene, so my mind immediately goes to Gore the God Butcher. If it's like Bucky and we're getting like Hive through that, that would be sick. I wouldn't hate that. Still wasn't me, Jubilee said, flashing her fangs at Blade. We know, Jubilation. But there must be another explanation. Not long ago, Venom suffered a severe wound in his duel against Null. His blood loss was abnormal, as if the weapon he was cut with had siphoned his body vital fluids. Okay, again, immediately, not reading on. The weapon of Null is called All Black. It's the first symbiote. And it's often used as the weapon of Gore the God Butcher. Just saying. It's siphoned the vital fluids from the body. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I can tell you that doesn't apply to the All Black. The All Black, for a question it cannot be. There must be another explanation. Perhaps. We move to our next bit of evidence. Next, before being dragged into the illusion, Psylocke detected undead energy lingering in Apocalypse's wound. Curious, Hela told me of a discussion she had with Null before she became the Queen in Black. She claimed the All Black carries undead energy within its blade that drains the souls of anyone it wounds. Okay, this is all but confirmation that Gore the God Butcher killed Apocalypse. Maybe that's why the Lazarus Chamber couldn't revive him. Part of his soul is missing. An interesting assessment. There's one more factor that needs to be considered. Finally, according to Gambit, he locked onto the traces of the Phoenix Force in Apocalypse's wound. Back on Clintar, Jean was wounded by All Black. If it left residual energy on those wounds, could All Black still carry a hit of it as well? We have our murder weapon. Has Null returned already? Captain America asked. Nay, not Null. But there's another who wields the Necro Sword, a butcher of the gods, who has been wreaking havoc in this timeline for many centuries. We getting Gore the God Butcher, baby! We're getting Gore the God Butcher! Perhaps the fluctuations in divine energy, his attempt to ascend caught the attention and drew him here. If I were devoted to slaughtering gods, taking one out before he could claim the mantle seems a wise move. I don't get it. An execution, this savage feels intensely personal. As far as I know, Apocalypse didn't have any beef with the God Butcher. If he's in the process of ascension, then technically he isn't a god to be butchered. So why him? More importantly, who's next? We're not doing bad. The last 2 aren't available yet. And that one is in the Battle Pass? Yeah, we're just not there yet. right there. Okay. All right, not bad. Well, I'm excited. With that, that's all the confirmation I need that we're getting Gore the God Butcher. I'm kind of excited about that. Big fan of Gore. I love Christian Bale. The character writing itself was done a disservice in the show, or in the Thor Love and Thunder movie.